Should you invest in commodities like oil, gold, and food? With stocks and bonds down here in 2022 and inflation over 9%, commodities are about the only asset class with a positive return. Hey there, it's Alex and Anthony from 1 Degree Advisors. If you're new here, we are certified financial planners that help folks with all things tax, retirement, and investment related. So Anthony, we're here in 2022. Stocks and bonds are down. It pretty much seems like everything is except for commodities. So a question we've been hearing a lot from folks and clients is, should I be loading up on things like commodities, gold, oil, food? And I think it's a fair question, but like you and I were talking earlier, it's first good to start with some context. So context number one, dive into it.
Yeah, stocks and bonds, as major asset classes, they often pair very well together because a lot of times when stocks are down, people go to the safe haven of bonds, but that's not what's happening this year. In fact, Charlie Baleo put up a good chart where stocks and bonds combined together in a traditional 60%, 40% allocation portfolio. It's the worst year that we've had since the 1930s.
Yeah. This is really frustrating, right? Because again, a lot of people, they go to the stocks and bonds, they expect when markets go down, bonds are going to be there to protect them. And when that's not the case, that's incredibly frustrating. But let's dive into context number two, which is, kind of like talking about inflation.
Yeah, so that is one of the major circumstances right now economically is inflation. June numbers, 9.1%, really high. So all the things that we're paying more for, so think about gas, food, rent, these types of things that can go along with commodities. People are looking at the investment markets or at their portfolios if they already hold commodities and saying, hey, that's the only consolation I'm getting in a year where almost everything is down.
So again, going back to the question, should I invest in commodities? We have two main takeaways here. And the first is sometimes that stocks lead the economy.
Yeah, that's right. So if you look at history, in stocks often go down before the recession starts. So it's arguable, like, are we in a recession right now? Or is it coming? The odds seem to be much more probable that that's happening one way or the other. Stocks have been down for a while. And we'll put up this chart here, is that it shows that the stock market tends to bottom and starts to recover on average 4 months before the recession is over. So if you define a recession as 2 quarters of a down economy, that means that the stock market's actually recovering a lot of times in the first half of a recession.
And I think that's really confusing for investors, right? Because what could happen, at least what's happened a lot historically, is some of the worst economic data will be coming out and the stock market's already going to be in recovery mode.
It's already in up mode.
We saw a little bit of that in March of 2020 during COVID times, right? March, I think it was March 23rd, correct me if I'm wrong, was really the bottom of the stock market, and things were on their upward trajectory after that. But at the same time, some of the worst economic data was coming out in March 2020 with things slowing down, supply chains, the virus. So it's really confusing for people knowing that the worst data might be yet to come, yet we might already be in a recovery for stocks. All right, takeaway number 2, which is commodities can be unloved.
Yeah, so where commodities have done so well, there are just major stretches of time where commodities can really be unloved. We'll put up this chart here, and it shows it from February 06 to now in order to show a couple peaks. But then you look at that big, messy, murky middle there where just commodities were very unloved. That middle stretch, it just wasn't quite as rosy as it is lately.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're going to invest in commodities, at least we prefer to invest in commodities overlaid with like a tactical strategy that's designed to help you maybe get in and out of it. Again, it's not a silver bullet, but it may help protect against some of these big major swings that you at least historically have seen in commodities.
That's right. Yeah, and so what we want to take away from that is maybe stocks could be recovering at any point in time, even if the news is bad. We're not predicting that. It's just that it very well could happen. Commodities at the same time may have run their course. We don't know that. So having some exposure, maybe in a more trend-following type of strategy can make a lot of sense. Biggest thing is be diversified, have a plan, make sure it aligns with your overall financial plan.
And now let us know what you think. Are you investing in commodities or are you including them into your broader investment plan? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.